I am outside my parents' hotel and I'm screaming at them again and again, over and over, with a lot of swearing. I'm trying to make them understand. I was going to do a reading of my kids' book, The Nose That Nobody Picked, at an art centre. I had lots of great ideas. I would walk there, and then on the way I would pop into a second-hand shop and dress up weird, talking to people and kind of gathering an audience like a magical Pied Piper who would follow me to the venue, where I would only arrive as the event started, happily blowing smoke-filled bubbles using my vape. It was going to be fantastic. Yeah, a concerned member of the art centre came and saw me with my parents while I sat with them and explained to them all my brilliant ideas. He left and I just assumed the event was still happening. It was only later that I phoned up the venue and I found out that it wasn't, because the artist was unwell. This infuriated me. Later that night, when I was having dinner with my parents in their hotel, where they'd come to stay because I was acting weird apparently, I popped out and made a phone call. I told my friend that when I got home I was going to write a scathing attack on this art centre and how they chickened out of this brilliant new wave sort of left field kids' books reading. Anyway, so she hung up and then she phoned my parents, which brings us neatly up to speed. Me screaming at them in the dark. That book is my intellectual property and I can do or say whatever I like about it. And I may love you, Mum and Dad, but you've got to understand, I am my own person. I then turn to my father and say that all over again, but with fucking every other word. I am venomous. He looks a little afraid. I'm intent on buying a bottle of wine and drinking it as I walk home. My parents don't think this is a good idea, and my dad tries to stop me and we scuffle, eventually ending up on the floor. Finally, I'm persuaded into getting a taxi with them to my house. Sounds fair enough. Except the taxi doesn't go to my house. It goes to the hospital. Outside the A&E, I make a hell of a scene. I am angry and terrified. Eventually, two nurses get me inside, and things are discussed in hushed voices, and I'm led to a waiting room where I wait for 4 hours. At 2:15, I am seen by two men and a woman who explain that they are psychiatrists and a social worker. And they ask me lots of questions like, are you seeing things? No. Do you think people are watching you? Well, I do now. Do you think you have special powers? What? Do you think you're a special person? Now, this gets me going. I explained to them that we're about to enter a new wave of optimism. Things have been pretty dark recently, but that's all changing. Donald Trump, etc. That's all changing. And it's happened like this throughout history. There's been these dark times that have inevitably been followed by times of lightness and hope. And we can see it in the stories we tell, like westerns or old fairy tales or tales about knights of yore. I begin my Star Wars metaphor. We are at the end of Empire Strikes Back, where everything is looking pretty grim, but things are going to change. We are going to enter a whole new phase, and Return of the Jedi is coming. There's going to be Ewoks and stuff. It'll be great. And do I feel a part of that? Yes, I guess I kind of do, because my kids' book, The Nose That Nobody Picked, is part of that. It's part of that wave of optimism. It's an agnostic parable that's going to change the world. And perhaps, maybe there might be a terrorist reading it to his kid, and while he's reading it to his kid, he might rethink things and rethink his life. And no, yeah, I don't know. Everything's just going to be great. As I'm saying this, I'm sort of crying, but sort of laughing as well. And why won't they listen to me? I'm trying to make them understand. They raise their eyebrows, take notes in their pad, and then they section me. At 5 o'clock in the morning, I am taken to the Bradgate Mental Health Unit in Glenfield Hospital, Leicester. I shouldn't be here. This is a mistake. This is madness.